The 4 Ps framework. Clarity closes, connections keep it closed when we're talking about ourselves. So the number 1 P in the 4 Ps is problem. And this calls out what's real, like what's the real problem in the situation. So we start with understanding. So we might say something like, based on your report, your biggest obstacle right now is utilization. That's what's keeping lenders from saying yes, right? When you can describe their problem better than they can, then they're going to instantly feel understood. So again, if we're looking at the GAIN method, when that 4 Ps fits right inside of the GAIN method, if we're looking at the GAIN method, we got G for goal and A for awareness. Awareness is that gap between where you want to be and where you're at, which is obviously the problem, right? So the first P in the 4 Ps process. But we want to give them insight and awareness of where they're at and why that's an obstacle to getting them to where they need to go, right? And so that's the first part. But when you can do that in a way that you can describe the problem better than they can, then you get instant credibility. But you can't do that unless you know the goal. So again, that G in the GAIN framework is the most important part because you can't really truly understand someone's problem unless you truly understand what their goal is. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. The more you know, this is that Chris Voss quote that I gave you earlier. I'll state it again. The more you know about someone's problems, the more power you have to solve them. And I would add to that, the more you know about someone's goal, the deeper you dive into their goal and why their goal is such a big thing for them, the better you are to figure out the problem. And the better you figure out the problem, the better you are to help them solve the problem. Okay. So, and then we got P as in path. Show the roadmap. Okay. People don't want you to say, oh, I'm gonna fix your credit and we're gonna get you to your goal and blah blah blah. And you don't really show them the roadmap. They actually want to know. Again, they should be the hero in the story. You are the guide, just like a personal trainer. You go to a personal trainer, they're going to guide you on what you need to do. They certainly aren't going to do the things. So in the story of me going to a personal trainer and getting the results that I want, I'm the hero in that story. I have to be the hero because I did the work. And so if you can kind of switch your gears to thinking that you are the guide, not the hero, and your consumer is the hero, it's really going to help you with this whole thought of this showing a roadmap for them, right? So um, you might say something like this. Here's the path I would put you on. Lower utilization. We're going to add some positive trade lines, verify collections, and then we're going to rebuild. So I gave them like a simple path, right? It's not a lot of information. I didn't deep dive into everything, but I showed them that I do have a path. I know exactly what we're going to be doing together. Level Up Score gives that to you. So if you are a user of Level Up Score and you run their credit report through with their goal in mind, because it's a goal-driven, tailored action plan, right? So you're going to make them feel special because you're seeing exactly what they need to do, not what everybody else in your organization or who's come into your organization does, because you should have a system, but every system should be tailored to the person, right? Their process should be tailored. And so by you doing that, you can say, hey, I got a path. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. Okay. Anthony writes in his book, transformational leaders don't sell features, they sell futures. They say, let's build something bigger together, right? And so by us showing this path, we're showing them the future, what we need to do to get them to their goal, right? And we're going to help them to grow bigger and better in order to get to that goal. So instead of here's what we do, I would encourage you to say something like, here's what we'll do for you, or here's what we'll do together. Here's the tailored plan we've created for you, right? Really helping them feel special. So making that personal words, adding a lot of personal words into your dialogue with them, into your consultations is going to help make them feel special, right? And that's the point because that's the key motivator for everyone is feeling special. Okay. P number 3 is build proof. So build this belief in you, this trust, right? And so to add proof, I'll give you a little story. This is something that you might use in yours, and you can pull out a story from one of your customers. But one of my clients, Marcus, started at 620. We followed We followed this plan, maybe the same plan, because maybe they're a similar situation. And in 70 days, he was up to a 681 and got pre-approved. So that might be my conversation because I'm hoping to provide proof. So I can pull out a story from one of my clients that had a similar situation and say, hey, you know what? ABC, I just wanted you to know that I had a client not too long ago, Marcus. He was down at, a 620 credit score, couldn't get approved for the home loan. We did the same process, the same plan that I have laid out for you, or a similar plan that I have laid out for you. And he was able to actually get through those steps. And in 70 days, got his score up to a 681 and he got pre-approved for his home loan, right? And so you're helping not only give proof that your plan, your process works, but you're also showing that someone else did it. And that's helping them have belief in themselves that they may do it too. Okay. Because we can believe that we can do it if someone else did it that was just like us, right? Um, Stories transfer belief. They work because the listener can see themselves as the hero. They work because the person can see themselves as a hero. Okay. Here's another quote from Anthony Williams' book, Unshakable. The well-told story creates relatability, introduces conflict, and delivers a resolution. So think about the 4 Ps again, right? We have relatability because we're talking about the problem, right? Like what's the issue? We're showing them that other people are like that they're not alone, right? That relatability. We introduce that conflict, like here's where we're at, so awareness, right? Here's where you're at, here's where you want to be, here's what's the obstacle stopping us. And then we deliver some resolution, like here's the path that we can do, and here's the proof that you can do it too. Here's the proof that the path works. Here's the proof that you can do it too, right? And so hopefully that makes sense is providing that proof. It's really important. Again, I'm going to go back to having those Google reviews, right? The more Google reviews you have, the better. The fourth P and the final P in the 4 Ps process is plan. So let's help them see the future. And this is where Level Up Score becomes your best friend. Because if you're doing online consultations like I do myself, I can have their plan up there and I can show them that I have a tailored plan specifically for them. It says their name on it and they can see their accounts and all their information. And I can quickly show them, hey, I have a plan for you. And so when they can visually see that I have a professional plan for them, I'm not just speaking words out of my mouth about what I can deliver, but I'm actually visually showing them that there's a plan in place for them. They're going to see me as more credible, right? They're going to see, hey, I see steps to this plan that I have to do, and I can do this because now I know. It's very similar. I like to bring the personal training thing up, but if I have I say, I want to lose 10 pounds, and someone says, eat this, do this, wake up at this time, go to sleep at this time, eat these vitamins, whatever, whatever, and I feel like I can do those steps, then I'm more likely to reach the goal. And then I'm going to feel like I can do that. And I'm going to feel like a hero because I'm actually the one doing it. By the way, I've said this before, you can't do anything. The consumer has to do it. So again, you're not the hero, you are the guide. So if you're thinking that you're the hero in the story and flip that switch, you're the guide. Okay, because they're going to have to do the work. You're going to be the expert, the accountability. You're going to show them that there's a path. You've done it before. You can show them a better way. They don't have to go through all the hills and valleys and everything that you had to go through to get there because you cleaned up the path. You took the brush out. That's the point of why they're hiring you, not so you can be their hero, but that they can be the hero. You're empowering them. So again, with Level Up Scores plan, you can really have this step-by-step mapped out process that tracks them. So once they sign up and 30 days later it says, hey, congratulations, you did this. And now we have this. Or hey, goal is this and we messed up a little bit, let's tighten this up, right? And so that's the beauty of having something like that. So allowing them to also visualize that you have a plan is really important, not just the words that come out of your mouth. And that's why video consultations are so powerful. I used to think back in the day, I talk about this, I've been in the business for 23 years and people come in my office and they'd sit in front of me and we'd be there for 2 hours because I thought, oh, I have to build this rapport and this friendship and really get to know them and get to know them. And 2 hours later, we haven't done anything. We've just been talking about doing the thing, right? And it worked. I was very successful in helping people. But then things started changing and I had a coach. He said, you can't continue to do that. You're going to have to go to phone consultations, right? And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, there's no way someone is going to want me to be their coach and do a phone consultation. They can't see me and talk to me and relate. We can't go back and forth like that. We're on a phone. Like no one's going to do this. And I found a way. Yes, they will. It just is all in this whole framework that I'm talking about now. And then when we all got hit with, hey, we can't do it this way anymore. And so we start going to, Loom consultations where I'm sending an email or whatever, however you're doing it. I do online consultations. I thought, man, how is anybody going to believe that I'm a great coach if they can't talk to me on the phone? And I realized they don't want to talk to me on the phone. They actually like this. I was building more know, like, and trust through the video consultations where they can see me expressing my passion for helping them and helping them to visualize, the hand motions and everything, and how much better that is in terms of helping them get to their goal and helping them realize that I'm going to be the one to help them get there, right? So I just want to offer that up to you if you guys are hesitant on that. It works. It works very well, and it actually works better than any phone consultation I ever did. Okay. All right. So recap: problem shows you understand. Path shows direction, proof builds belief, and plan shows results. That's your 5-minute fix. I hope beyond a shadow of a doubt, when you walk away from here, you have a 5-minute fix. I'm going to repeat that so you know what the 5-minute fix is. When you're working with a consumer and you're doing a consultation, problem. You need to know what the problem is. You need to know it better than they do. You need to be able to speak it to them better than they could speak it to themselves. Shows you understand. It helps them feel special that you understand them. The path shows the direction. You have created a personal path for them. They feel special again. Proof builds belief. You help give them the belief that they can do it. That helps them feel special because someone else like them did it, that you can show that it works because someone else like them did it, right? Your process works. And then plan showing the results, showing that level up score plan. Of course, it's not going to be called level up score when you go in there because it's going to be tailored, it's going to be white label to you, but showing them that plan and showing them, hey, your name is on here. Here's your goal. It shows your goal. Here's how many steps you have. And then they can see that you've actually taken the time to really create a detailed plan for them, AKA making them feel special.